guys, welcome back to Science Skills and Life Skills with Vikhyath. So this video is going to be the first of a travelogue series on my channel. I'm going to be sharing my experiences of my recent trip to North India, which included Jaipur, Agra, Fatehpur Sikri, Delhi, Amritsar, etc. So it all started with the National Coding Challenge, conducted by CBSE and Microsoft. I was selected as the winner of this challenge. For those of you who don't know the National Coding Challenge, I shall be putting a link below in the description which will talk more about it. So CBSE and Microsoft invited me and all other teams to a Felicitation in Delhi, and I thought that would be a good chance to tour most places of North India. So here we go. We took off from Bengaluru on November 24th. So here we coming to land. We landed around 3 hours later. After landing, we drove from Indira Gandhi Airport to our stay, which was in Gurugram, Delhi NCR. Our stay was Lemon Tree Premier's Hotel in Sector 29, Gurugram. The function was to be on November 25th. Until then, I interacted with the 4 other teams that were selected as runners-up and second runners-up. On 25th was our felicitation, which was at the auditorium in Radisson's Hotel, Gurugram, Udyog Vihar. Here are a few clips from the felicitation function.
नई दुनिया से नए दौर में नई तकनीक से नए applause for them. They have traveled all the way, come yesterday, practiced. Today, yes, they are here, and we welcome you, children. Come over.
Good afternoon to all present here. I am from Team Think by Vikhyath High School, Electronic City. For the theme of accessibility, I have created a project called iSmart. So for the 18 million blind people in India, they face many challenges. For example, they face huge difficulties locking the main door with a lock and a key. They also have to be safe from internal hazards like LPG blast, fire, short circuit, etc. They also need to navigate in and around their homes while avoiding obstacles. If they have to enter the password, the intruder obviously doesn't know the password. So he or she will enter a password like A, B, A, D, and then they hit the white with logo. The door doesn't open because the password is incorrect. So that's a safety feature. Now let's see the bedroom microwave. So here is the motion detector. This is the motor fan. This is the servo. And this is the microwave. So let's turn on the microwave.
After the event, I said goodbye to the other teams and checked out of Lemon Tree. Although we had known each other for less than 2 days, all of us had become good friends. After checking out, we drove to Delhi from Gurugram and checked in to Vishwa Yuvak Kendra, where we would be staying for the rest of the trip. That night, around 9 PM, we visited the India Gate, which was brightly lit up. The India Gate looks best at night and is open 24/7. The India Gate is a war memorial, and its design was inspired by the Arc de Triomphe by Emperor Napoleon of France. The India Gate was built to honor the 84,000 soldiers of the British Indian Army, who were martyred in the Third Afghan War and World War I. This monument is on Kartavya Path, formerly known as Rajpath, and was designed by Sir Edwin Lutyens, and was finished in 12 February 1931. The next day, around 11 AM, we visited the National Police Museum, which was right across the road from Vishwa Yuvak Kendra. After reading through the memorial tablets, we entered the museum. These are a few of the many replicas of policemen of various ranks, like ACP, Sub-Inspector, Constable, etc. After the National Police Museum, we booked a cab to Qutub Minar. For most of Delhi, the traffic was quite fast moving, because of the really wide roads. But once we step out to enter the Qutub Minar, the congestion really reminded me of the famous Bengaluru traffic, which I was more used to. Anyways, we took the ticket from the ticketing counter and walked to the Qutub Minar. On the way, we saw about 3 tombs of Qutbuddin Aibak, Iltutmish and Alauddin Khilji. And it was when we reached the Qutub Minar that we understood the true size and scale of it. It looks much bigger in real life than we see in pictures. The Qutub Minar was a victory tower in which the first floor was erected by Delhi's first Sultan, Qutbuddin Aibak. The second, third and fourth were erected by Iltutmish. However, when the fourth floor was damaged due to a lightning strike, Firoz Shah Tughlaq repaired the fourth floor, decreased its height and split it into 2 floors, thereby making the 5th floor. Right next to it was the equally famous Iron Pillar. This is a structure built by Chandragupta II, which was finished in the 5th century AD. It is interesting because even though it is made of iron, it has never rusted till date. Nearby was also a board that translated the inscriptions of the Iron Pillar to English, which you can see here. Also within the same premises was Sanderson Sundial. All these monuments like the Qutub Minar, Sanderson Sundial and Iron Pillar are all in the same Qutub complex, which means they are barely a minute walk away from each other. Something I really liked about not just the Qutub Minar but many public spaces in Delhi, including metro, tourist boards, etc., was that they also had the text in Braille form, making all these places much more inclusive for the visually impaired. We then went to the Lotus Temple, but there was a slight twist in the tale. Our cab driver dropped us about 500 meters before where he should have actually dropped us in front of the Lotus Temple. So thinking that we are entering the Lotus Temple, we actually entered the Kalkaji Mandir instead, but fortunately we found out the actual entrance and entered the Lotus Temple. Something that you must remember before entering is you cannot bring any plastic water bottle nor any eatables. The premises were really clean and luckily for us, we entered right when the Baha'i sermon ended and we got to sit inside the structure, which was a meditation hall. But photography and videography inside the hall was strictly prohibited. It was quite a good experience to be sitting inside the hall. The land for the Lotus Temple was acquired in 1953. The construction started in 1980 and completed in 1986. Paribor Saba, an Iranian architect, designed the Lotus Temple, which is spread over 26.6 acres of land. The Lotus Temple is a Baha'i house of worship. The Baha'i faith was established by Baha'u'llah in the 19th century. Today, Baha'i houses of worship like the Lotus Temple are present in Santiago, Sydney, Washington and many other places. After the Lotus Temple, we decided to call it a day and visited a relative and went back to our stay. Vishwa Yuva Kendra happened to be really close to Shantipat, which was where all the embassies were located, like the Embassy of USA, the Embassy of Pakistan, the Embassy of France, the High Commission of UK, etc. We also saw embassy vehicles like this one. The Red Fort is where the national flag is hoisted every Independence Day by the Prime Minister. So this is the moat of the Red Fort. It's quite a big moat. It was commissioned by Shah Jahan and was designed by Ustad Ahmad Lahori. The sad part is that right after the 1857 rebellion, the British destroyed 80% of the buildings inside the Red Fort. This is the Diwani Khas, upon which the legendary Kohinoor diamond once rested. The entrance is through the Lahore Gate. And after entering, we reach a market where a variety of items are sold, from souvenirs to textiles to handicraft items. These are the pics from the Red Fort Museum. That's it for this video. Stay tuned for the trips to Jaipur, Agra, Amritsar and many other places coming up. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time.